Hello again folks, I am Ocir. Time to take another look at some clips and pictures. This time I'm going to talk about what could be a good idea to bring to a LARP, common rules, and why you shouldn't hesitate to jump straight into your role. Let's get started. Let's begin with the easiest part, what you should bring. I'll split this into two parts. The first one is about stuff that isn't necessarily LARP items, like warm clothing. You can't be completely sure if the weather is going to change or not, so make sure you have something warm to wear under your costume. And it's always a good idea to bring extra sets of clothing as well, just in case it starts to rain. Sleeping gear. This depends on what the location offers, but I usually bring like a blow-up mattress, sleeping bag, and a couple of blankets. The blankets are not only for comfort, but also to cover up stuff that doesn't have anything with the LARP event to do. If you don't have anything to lay down on, you should at least bring some sort of sleeping mat. Hygiene products, and if you use medicine on a regular basis, it would be a good idea to bring those along as well. I usually bring painkillers just in case, and if the season for mosquitoes are out, then check if you got a bug spray or anything along those lines. Food and drinks. I highly recommend fruit and water. Personally, I tend to buy myself some bread and water before heading out to an event. Although I have seen people bring chicken, sausages, snacks and soda. This is all fine, but if it doesn't fit into the age of the LARP event, try your best to cover it up so you don't break the illusion of the LARP event. For the second part, you got stuff mainly related to the actual LARP event and your own role. Obviously, you want to bring your costume and whatever extras you need along with it, like elf ears and makeup. Pen and paper is always nice to have around. You won't always have the need for it, but it's a pain when you have to start running around looking for it when you need it. Also, some sort of bag or pouch you can wear on your costume. I always have this, and it always comes in handy. Just to have pen and paper and, small gemstones or in-game currency and so on. Or your character sheet. If you have that available, make sure there's no risk of someone else getting their hands on this though. I think that pretty much covers the most general stuff you should bring. Of course there is stuff more directed towards each different type of character, but yeah, this is the, as I said, most general stuff. Now for the rules part, it is a bit hard to tell for certain which ones are always in use no matter what group you are part of. But I believe most LARP groups have some basic rules in common, and how they execute these rules and how exactly they work may differ, but I share with you the general idea of them. Rule number 1. A rule that gives you the ability to easily show to your surroundings that you are not part of the game for that moment, and that all players should ignore you. This is used if you are another player and don't want to disturb, or a situation has arisen where someone has to go get the person who is in charge of the event to clear things up. The version of this I am used to is placing a hand on top of your head. Rule number 2. A rule that stops the game completely. Usually this is used by yelling out a certain word. When this word is heard, everything stops until a situation has been taken care of. This is mostly used in emergencies. I have, however, never witnessed this rule in use, so it's more a precaution than anything else. And this rule can be used by anyone who thinks it's necessary to use it. Rule number 3. This is a rule that pauses the game for the close surroundings. This one also tends to be enabled by saying a certain word. If you hear this word, then it means that someone has simply had too much and really need everyone to back off for a moment. This could happen if a player finds a situation to be overwhelming, or they for some reason don't feel safe. Everyone respects this and do not blame the user for this rule, and the game continues as soon as the user of the rule feel ready for it. Again, this is not a rule that I see is often used. I've seen it a couple of times, and usually it's just someone getting too much at one time and they just need a little breather. Now, these rules are pretty basic, and they are mostly there to ensure that nothing is misunderstood and as precautions so that safety is guaranteed. As said, how different groups execute these rules may differ, so you would have to check with your LARP community to learn how exactly these rules are used. A big no-no, however, is exploiting these rules and using them in ways that they are not intended for. So now for the final part, why you shouldn't worry about jumping straight into your role. It is understandable that it might be scary at first, It is completely new for you, and you might be worried you're going to do something wrong. But think about it this way. If you do something wrong, it is not you. It is your role that does something wrong. And if you are worried about breaking any rules, sure, it doesn't hurt somewhat knowing the rules, but most people understand that it can be a lot to take in at first. So no one is going to point fingers at you for trying. Remember that everyone there has been in your shoes at some point. Alright folks, that's it for this time. There's a good chance that there will sometime be a Norwegian version of this as well, but I'm not completely sure when that will be. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. If you want more, subscribe. I'm Ocir. Take care.